Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's good?
What's up, everybody? Good morning. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while since we've
Um,
done one of these.
exactly. We wanted to do a little pop up real quick and talk NBA playoffs, and not necessarily our regular scheduled Tuesday programming, but we wanted to hop on here real quick as the NBA playoffs do start today.
Yeah.
Um, we got our boy Strizzy squad in action in just a few minutes. Miami Heat, the 6th seed, taking on the Milwaukee Bucks, the 3 seed. How are you feeling about the game today? Let's get that preview out of the way since that's the first one coming up.
I feel good, man. I think we know Milwaukee pretty well. I think their team really didn't change too much. I did think they upgraded defensively at the point guard position though, with getting my boy Drew Holiday, and I kind of let it go of Drew Bledsoe. But I don't. But as much as I love Drew, shout out to the homie. I don't know if it's going to be it's not too much of a difference. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a better shooter than Drew Bledsoe is. He's a better defender, but they still play a very similar game. You know what I mean? So. But Jimmy's, man, he's so locked in. You know what I mean? Like I've been watching his Instagram channel, stuff like that, and I think he's going to do the exact same thing he did to him last year, and that's just really corrupt. Giannis getting his head, bully him a little bit because that's what Jimmy does. And when as much as I love Giannis, he's a very, very, very good player. I don't think he's still there necessarily mentally yet, as far as that mental toughness. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we get into his head, and we'll do exactly this year that we did to him last year. So I'm feeling confident about this one. It's the next round I'm a little worried about, but
gotcha.
Still got to get through this one, but I'm feeling pretty good.
For sure, yeah. No, I'm with you. I hope that the Heat can kind of do it. I think it will be tough because just from the standpoint of it's going to be really a disappointment for either of these teams that lose, right?
Yeah.
The Heat coming off the playoff, the championship final. Milwaukee just having roadblock after roadblock and kind of not progressing and not making that real deep threat run.
Right.
So we'll see how it works out. I kind of am leaning towards the Bucks if I had to put money on it, but I'm definitely my rooting interest is with the Heat on that one.
For sure.
But yeah,
Bucks, I know they just signed Giannis on some massive contract, but if they lose first round, does Giannis start looking like?
I don't know. And it's funny, we've talked about this as a theory a long time as far as why did he sign that back up, and should he have left after last year, or should because I think when he re-signed he would have been a free agent after this year.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So it is interesting if he'll have a little bit of regret about that if they go out first round. That's tough.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The other one I definitely wanted to talk about, which this series doesn't start until tomorrow, but the Utah Jazz hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. That was crazy last night, the play-in.
I can't believe it. Well, I can't believe it. I've been saying all year the Warriors suck. So I'm on record saying the Warriors were a bad team. But Steph is Steph. You know what I mean? I kept saying Steph has to play great for them to lose and play amazing for them to barely win. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's one of those things where I can believe it because the Memphis Grizzlies as a whole are probably a better team. They don't have a Steph Curry caliber player, so I can believe that they did actually beat him in a one-time game. You know what I mean? I don't know if they would have got him a series, but yeah, man, I feel bad for Steph. His face said it all, man. He was extremely disappointed last night.
Yeah, and that was rough. But my thing is, I don't know. He kind of irritated me in the game. Even in the Lakers game, he was clapping and being all right, and then last night, he was I don't know. I just feel with all the late talk about, oh, is he the MVP? This or that. I'm you should have been able to beat the Grizzlies.
Right.
Because with him and Draymond Green, I don't care who you have on the rest of the team. That should still kind of be enough. And I did think going late into that game in the overtime, I'm well, at some point their veteran presence is going to kind of take over and they're going to make these right plays. But instead, it was Ja Morant doing that and coming through in the clutch. So that was pretty big. I definitely do have to give a shout out to the Grizzlies on that one because I'm with you. I was not expecting them to.
Right, and I feel Andrew Wiggins just averaged, I think, a solid 20 a game this year. You know what I mean? So it's I get it. He's definitely not Clay, but at the same time, I just feel they definitely should have been able to do a lot more this season than what they were able to do. And like you said, even Wiggins might not have a lot of playoff experience, you know what I mean? But he is technically a veteran now in the league. He's been in the league for quite some time now. He knows how these things work. And, like I said, between Steph and Draymond, Championship. They got championships. Like you would have expect. I was really expecting, even though the Warriors lost to the Lakers, I was like, they're still both going to get in. I
Yeah.
didn't think any of the other playoff teams between the Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies actually had a real shot at beating either one of those teams. And dang, I mean, it's crazy. They're out again.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree totally. And even Vegas, Vegas, they took 85% of the money on the Warriors. So very few people were putting their money on the Grizzlies. So Vegas made a field day with that, I'm sure. But they always find a way to edge the advantage towards them, anyways. But yeah. So okay, so that's two series. That's two kind of. But I mean, as far as I'm sorry, we haven't really given a preview for the Jazz and the Grizzlies, but I think it's the Jazz at this point. I feel like the Warriors would have had a better chance to compete long term.
Right.
So we've got that. Also, though, coming up later today, the Dallas Mavericks and the Clippers. I feel like this 4-5 series should be competitive, and I think it's going to be really fun to watch what Luka does. So I'll definitely be keen on that, but I do expect the Clippers to get it done.
Yeah,
just with their depth alone.
Right. I'm with you. I think they're a lot deeper this year than they were last year. It's like we talked about their depth last year, like all year long. And for whatever reason, they just didn't show up when they needed the players to show up. I think they were up 3-1 against Denver, were they not? And they ended up losing to Denver in Game 7, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens this year. I think Rondo plays a really, really big role in that. You know what I mean? Way more so than Patrick Beverly, in my opinion. But I'm curious to see what Luka does, and also a healthy Porzingis. So I think if Porzingis stays healthy, I think that there could be an upset, but I'm still leaning Clippers.
Yeah, I agree with that. Then the nightcap tonight, we have, or no, sorry, not the nightcap. There's 4 games tonight. So the next game after that, though, Boston and Brooklyn, they kick off their series. I feel like Brooklyn will take this one. I got to give a little bit of credit to Tatum for putting the team on his back. He's been going crazy, smart 50 a lot lately, but he's not going to be enough to get it done. And this will actually kind of be a good chance for the Nets Big Three to get some good experience playing together and see what they're going to look like in the playoffs. So
for sure,
that one will be one to watch. But I got the Nets in like 4 or 5.
Same. I think I'm thinking I have the Nets in 4 or 5 as well. It might be a gentleman's sweep. I think because of the Nets' lack of defensive play, I think the Celtics can get in there and maybe steal one. But I think after they steal one, I think the Nets basically go and finish it off. You know what I mean? Like I think that Nets might win like the first 3. Celtics might win 4. You know what I mean? They'll snag one of them at home, and then Nets go back home and finish it off.
Finish them off at 5.
But I think that's going to be like the Nets' biggest thing is I think the Nets will have a problem with Miami if Miami gets past the Bucks, and then they'll really have a problem with the 76ers just because they're so strong defensively. Like those teams are both so strong defensively. So that's going to be their Achilles heel, man. I think they're going to be pushed around a little bit and not really know what to do. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting series, like multiple series in the East, I think.
For sure, yeah. I think the East will be more competitive. I think the West is going to be terribly competitive. And more evidence to that, the finally the late game tonight, Portland at Denver. This is a 6-3 matchup where Portland is actually favored if you go look at the Vegas betting odds. Denver has Jokic, but they don't have, their boy Murray. So that's going to be a big loss. I do have the Blazers winning this series as well. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, man, me too. Dame's my guy. And without Murray being able to kind of check each other, you know what I mean? Like, who's their backup point guard who's really going to be able to kind of check my boy Dame. And on top of that, like, the whole team now is healthy. Nurkic is back, and he's been back for a couple of games, kind of get his legs under him. So he's been playing very well. Obviously his backcourt mate, you know what I'm saying? So and then Melo was playing so well when I'm missing his name right now. When he was
when Nurkic was out, yeah,
exactly. So like when he was playing so well, so I agree with you. I think Blazers take this one too, and I think it was like 6. I think they get him like 6.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So that's the games for today. That's starting today. Let's move to tomorrow. We have a morning matchup: the Washington Wizards at the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm excited for this matchup. I feel like Beal and Westbrook will want to be respectable, but I honestly don't think that the Wizards have a chance in this series long term. I have the Sixers in 5, maybe 6, maybe 6. But I think that this will be really good for the Sixers to kind of get their legs up against them, up under them against some scrappy opponents and kind of get ready for the battles that lie ahead. I think the Sixers have a chance to go deep in this playoff, so I'm excited to see how they start out.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too, man. You know what I mean? Like, I've never really been like a huge 76ers fan, but I've never really been like a 76er hater either. You know what I mean? Like, but I've been saying for the longest, like, they're a coach away. You know what I mean? They're a coach away. And Doc Rivers might be that guy. So with this series, I'm kind of curious about it. Like, I feel like a lot of teams don't want to play the Wizards coming in. They've been the hottest team since the All-Star break, essentially. They started 17-35. And what they lost, I think they lost like 4 games or something like that.
Yeah, so the Wizards at that point they had like a 0.8% chance of making the playoffs, less than 1% chance of making the playoffs, and then made it through. So
yeah, that's huge, man. So like that's literally the hottest team in the NBA right now, coming in. So I feel like they're going to be pretty dangerous. Russ is playing out of his mind, and he's got a thing out for Embiid, so he's coming with all the attack, all the
the extras.
All the tenacity. And this is this isn't Bill's first playoff series. I think him and John Wall got there before. But like, he's ready to continue to show out. Hopefully his hamstring holds up. But I think 76ers taking 6. You know what I mean? Like, it could easily be 5. But I think just those 2 superstar players, I think they, can make it kind of competitive, but I think the 6th game that's like 76ers smash. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, to me, it almost feels like Lakers Heat finals last year. It's like Miami found some way to get to 6 games, but then just didn't have nowhere near enough in that 6th game for the Lakers pulled it off. So we'll see, but I think that was going to be a fun one too.
Yeah, no, I agree. And now 2 playoff series left. I'm going to go out of order a little bit. I want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks at the New York Knicks first. Yeah. That's another 4 or 5 matchup that looks competitive, where some people are favoring the Hawks, and the 5 seed in that one. I'll let you go first on this one. What do you think about this one?
Yeah. So because the Knicks have been so bad for a really, really long time, they've been getting a lot of press lately because they are one of the biggest franchises in the NBA, even though they've been bad the last 15 years or so. Like, they've been pretty bad for a really long time. So they've been getting a lot of press, just being competitive, winning games, getting into the playoffs for the first time in a while. But I think the Hawks have been just as equally as good and have been flying under the radar. So for me, I'm taking the Hawks in this one. I actually think that they're going to be able to take them. But it's going to be I think this one really goes back and forth quite a bit. You know what I mean? This could easily be one of the series that definitely goes Game 7 in the first round. So we'll see, but I'm taking the Hawks in this one.
I'm with you. I'm taking the Hawks too. And like you said, flying under the radar, playing really well, especially considering this is a team that was down in the dumps a little bit. They fired their coach about a quarter of the way into the season, and then things really started picking up and changing around. So I think that they'll do it. The Knicks will want to fight and want to be competitive, but I just think that maybe this season-long run kind of took too much out of them in a way. I don't know. I feel like we might have seen the best out of the Knicks already, unfortunately. Always rooting for my boy Julius Randle, though. He is a big Laker. I do love him. I am glad for him, the season he had. I think he'll probably win Most Improved Player.
He a lock. He got to be. I'll be so disappointed if he's not. Like, he got to be a lock for that.
Most Improved Player for sure. All right, so I know we're only a couple minutes from tip-off. The last one, I saved this one for last because obviously I have the most interest in this one for multiple reasons. The Lakers, the 7 seed, visiting the Suns. This is tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific. I'm really excited for this. Being from Arizona, there's a little bit of a buzz. I see a lot of people talking and chitter-chatting about Phoenix Suns being back in the playoffs, talking about Lakers and stuff. But I feel like the Suns, I kind of almost feel bad for them that this is that first-round matchup. I don't see how they can get it done. I think that they can be competitive, but I feel like this is the Lakers in 5. Even if the Suns come out and win tomorrow, it's going to be one of those things where as long as the Lakers get one out of these first 2, I think that they'll finish it in the long run. What do you think, though? What do you see in this series?
Yeah, man, I kind of agree with you. Me and my boy David were talking about it. We wanted the Warriors to beat the Lakers so bad. We wanted to beat them so bad because we were like, if we can beat the Warriors, we won't have to see the Lakers until basically the finals. You know what I'm saying? So we were like, if the Warriors could just beat them that play-in game, the Suns would be in a better position. But yeah, man, it's tough. They play so well. They got 51 games this season. They completely turned it around. I think Chris Paul is a monster. He does this for every team that he's ever touched. You know what I mean? So congratulations to them. But this is going to be a really, really tough matchup in the first round. This could be – I think the Phoenix Suns will be the second seed to ever lose in the first round ever. So, wow. I want to say ever. So, we've seen the first seed lose, I think 3 times before in history, but I think
it's never been a second seed.
I think the second seed has never. Yeah, I think I read the second seed has never been, and the Suns could very well easily be the first. It's hard to beat LeBron James in one game, let alone a 7-game series, and I just don't know with the Suns' youth if they're going to be able to do it. I love the defensive prowess of Mikal Bridges, you know what I mean, and they got Crowder as well to help out with that, but man, LeBron's LeBron, dude, and you just watch the way he willed his team back against the Warriors with just the nastiest of passes. It was ridiculous. He was making passes that the defending players didn't even see him make. Their whole attention was still on him, and he no longer even had the ball. It was crazy. So yeah, the Suns definitely got their work cut out for him, man. But I'm saying Lakers in 6. But I'm hoping Suns in 7. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really? It's like that. You would like to see it?
I would like to see it because of how good they look. I would love for Chris Paul to try to get a championship. This might be. I don't want to say this might be his best bet to get there, but because he was on the the Rockets for a little while, but. Right. This might be his, unless he just decides to go to a super team after this. You know what I mean? This might be his next best bet.
Chance.
Get one. You know what I mean? So he's one of those players you kind of want to see get one. You know what I mean? Kind of like Steve Nash. And we wanted to see Steve Nash get one, even though he never got to grab one. As a player, anyway.
Yeah, I can kind of feel you on that, but not at the expense of my Lakers.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I think though, being a Lakers, I feel like the Lakers do have a chance to make that deeper run, and this is a great first test for them though, because they're going to be scrappy right away. Mm-hmm. Also, the LeBron James versus Chris Paul element of it, Yep. So that's that.
In the playoffs, going against each other.
Right, exactly, and they're buddies. So,
yep.
So we'll see, but I think that's about it though. We did our little playoff preview. We're going to be stepping in and doing more of that. But we do have I do have a couple special guests, and I don't have a couch guest, but I have some live little special guests.
Hey.
Let's see what's going on. We got my in the building.
Yeah.
My Mama's not feeling it though. He's not feeling it. He's not feeling it. He doesn't like to see himself apparently, but yeah. We got my the boys are in the building today. It's all about family. And speaking of it all being about family, we still have the book drive going on for sure. Make sure you get in on that for sure. Pops, no worries. Pops is here too, though. He says what's up to everybody. So we still do got the book drive going on. That's a big thing. Please help out with that if you can.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I guess that's it. I think we'll be having to do some more of these pop-ups though with some of the results and stuff. I wanted to go live last night, but just didn't have the opportunity to. So after that Warriors Grizzlies game, no. So we'll see, but we'll definitely be monitoring the playoffs very close, and yeah, we'll go from there though. Any last words before your Heat, Bucks?
No, man. I really want to take a game 1. You know what I mean? I really want to steal game 1 for them at home. And I think if we can steal game 1, it's just gonna look so much better for us moving forward in the series. Kind of prove to them that last year wasn't a fluke, and you know what I'm saying, we're healthy. We've been playing well since the whole team's been healthy, and we gotta try to make that run back to the finals.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's what's up. Well, I will say I'm definitely rooting for your boys, and we'll see what's up with that. And also, I do have to say one last thing. We'll talk about it more on Tuesday, but man, I was disappointed in Steve Kerr last night. Man, he should have been able to coach his boys up a little bit better than that.
That's the thing, man. I know I talk a lot of shit about Steve Kerr. I know we'll end on this or whatever. I talk a lot of shit about Steve Kerr. I think that's just my biggest problem with him. I feel like from what I've watched, I've just really watched just the Warriors as a whole, as a really good team, just go out there and do their thing for the last 6 years. And I just feel like I just haven't seen enough from him. Like
when it comes to you got to figure this out and make some adjustments.
Exactly. And that's the one thing I love about Spo. Dude, he's he's one of the best, if not the best, out of timeout plays, bro. Like out of timeout plays, like because even so, for example, even with the Lakers, right? LeBron hit that three. There was still 58 seconds left. Yeah, like, there was still plenty of time for them to try to like make something
figure something out.
Like, it was not like LeBron hit a 3-pointer with like 8 seconds on the clock. You know what I mean? Like, no, they had a full NBA minute.
That was so funny. He's like, I can't even see.
I just aim for the middle when it went in. I was laughing. They were talking, and Curry like waved him off. Like, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Like, he was like, "Oh, man, yeah." But I agree, though. It's one of those things where it's like this was like your time in both games because like you shouldn't have lost to Memphis either, in my opinion. And it's one of those things, right? I mean, shit happens. I get it. Your team's not as strong as it's been. Clay's hurt, you know what I mean, for the last 2 seasons. So I know like that'll really help them back next year. Hopefully, I mean, he's coming up to an Achilles injury and an ACL.
No, I just want him to be healthy, man.
Me too, man. Like, so who knows what he'll be like when he comes back? But I know Steph's just like, I need my dog back. Like, I know that's what he's always thinking, man. Like,
yeah,
he probably loves Dre. He's just like, I need my dog back, like, and we'll be good.
Right, exactly. Because that's his real running mate. So that's what's up, though. We definitely will see what happens with that. We'll be watching Spoelstra's coaching performance closely. You know what I'm saying? The ever-going debate. Absolutely. And yeah, that was our little quick playoff rundown. We'll be back at y'all with more, but we appreciate it. Enjoy the NBA playoffs. Enjoy the first round starting today.
Oh, yeah.
It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.